Where are we at here? Was this Celtics thing? Is this very exciting? Are we all in on Kristaps Porzingis?
So, couple angles last night. I mean, it was a revenge game. I mean, it's the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge game for him. That's the team he's drafted by. He's really had like a streak of bad luck there, with the exception of a few games in Dallas. So big, kind of revenge spot for him. Finally on a good team, gets to face his old team.
Yeah.
So look, he's awesome. The big problem with him is that, a couple things. The team has no depth in the front court, so he's not going to be able to play 38 minutes a game. They just can't do it. They're going to have to. He's going to be maybe a 30-minute guy. He played 38 last night. That's just not sustainable if you want to keep him healthy. He has all those health issues. He's awesome on both ends of the floor. I didn't think he would be nearly as big of a presence defensively as he was, and last night he was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. He's the only reason they won that game. He is the reason.
He brought
they
them
won
back.
that game.
He saved the Celtics from being the Celtics.
From being themselves.
Yep.
But I'm just really, really concerned, again, that he gets hurt and we're just seeing the same old team, the same old thing. And you saw it last night. You saw they tried to do the same old thing. That the same team has been doing for 6 or 7 years. They tried to do it again last night. Now, it's a regular season game. It's nothing to totally lose your mind about. But, Porzingis saved them. If he stays healthy, this team is in really good shape. If he gets hurt, they're probably in the same place they were.
When he gets
hurt. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah, all right. So what do you guys think, Kendra, as well? Because it was funny, Mannix was everyone hold off. His point was Milwaukee, is really good. Let's relax a little bit here. It's not like the Celtics are way better than Milwaukee in his opinion. But he said, but if Kristaps Porzingis can play 65 games, now we're talking. And I was like, wow, talk about expectations. Let's not go crazy. 65 games.
Yeah, that was the Stratomatic, I think, that came out. It was 64 is what they.
So
predicted.
what is ideally for you guys? What is the expectation? What would you? This isn't a gambling question, but it does affect the Celtics. What would you guys think is a reasonable amount?
I bet the over on 54.5, and it killed me because I still think this team's gonna have some slip-ups in the first 2-3 months, just getting the chemistry.
I mean, they almost did last night.
Yep.
I would say my keys, over 55 games, 30 minutes a game. If he can shoot the way that he did in the preseason last night, stay out of foul trouble. I don't know if you guys heard the F Porzingis chant last night. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole revenge.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's classless.
But if he can stay out of foul trouble, play 55-plus games, average 30 minutes a game, stay healthy, I do think that this team, based off of what I've seen so far, and I'm trying not to overreact, might be better than the Bucks, but it's just a health thing. It's just a health thing.
Okay, can I ask you guys this? Why is it such a foregone conclusion? Because I am interested in this. Why is it such a foregone conclusion for so many people that the Celtics are better than the Bucks? When Damian Lillard is a top 3 offensive guard in the NBA, Drew Holiday was just a piece of that of that deal, and then all of a sudden the Celtics get Holiday, and now all of a sudden they're so much better
because Lillard now has to be more of a facilitator than he's ever been on that team. And that's the question mark.
So you think that's his role is to facilitate to Giannis?
He has to become a facilitator on that team now more than he.
Yes and no. But the thing is, he does.
Who do you think is better? Who do you both think is better? Who's the better team, Milwaukee or the Celtics?
Right now, I mean, I think the Celtics are better.
Because of the addition of Porzingis Holiday.
End of season, I think it's the Bucks. Right now, it's the Celtics.
1 through 6, Celtics have a better lineup. 1 through 6.
100%.
But I just don't know down the stretch if that's going to be the case.
Who had a better offseason, the Celtics or the Bucks? We considering
the Bucks, because now Giannis is happy and he signed an extension to play with Lillard.
And apparently that extension pretty much, I know it's only for 3 years, but apparently that guarantees he'll be in Milwaukee because of all the garbage I can't figure out about the contracts. But what do you think, Dan? Who had the better offseason?
Yeah, Milwaukee did. I mean, getting him to stay and getting Giannis to stay, I mean, that's getting Lillard and getting Giannis to stay is massive. In 3 years, you're probably looking at the end of Lillard. I mean, that's when they'll probably that's probably when he's going to stop, really drop off in those next few years. The thing is about this team is you don't know where Milwaukee's going to be. We've never seen a pick and roll duo like this. If you try and look at what they did in the preseason, at times they were so dominant you couldn't stop them. Other times, it looked like they had no idea what they were doing. So it's really going to be a question of how do they gel together, how does it work? But the way that they're going to be able to play off each other is going to be something we've never seen in the NBA. We've never seen a pick and roll duo like that. And the reason Porzingis is so valuable is because one of the things he does so well is that pick and roll defense. And I do think that he's going to be, his health is really, really, really important for this team down the stretch. And I really don't think we're going to see him play 65 games. I think we'll see him play 50. I think they're going to be as careful with him as humanly possible. He's nicked up. He has an ache. You're not playing tonight because there's.
But you can't do that because of the East, dude.
Who cares? You don't need the 1 seed. They've proven that you don't need the 1 seed in the East, and all they need to do is just get through and get this guy healthy for the playoffs.
I also think that's so bad for the league, though, when you sit these stars night in and night out.
Cares? They make them play 82 games.
Bradley Beal sat out game 1.
That's what the postseason's going to be like. Is you're going to have to play these teams night in and night out, the best of the best in the playoffs. And if you can't even get to stay healthy until the end of the season, what are we even doing?
It is a problem in the NBA, whether it's the right thing to do or not. I mean, it does. It is very frustrating.
Well,
yeah,
I think it's a difference. There's a difference as a fan in you resting a guy who is known to have injuries and a guy who's just a star wanting a night off.
But it's a chemistry problem, too. Like, if you're not building this chemistry now with your stars, that's an issue. Even if it is the middle of the season when you're trying to get guys healthy, you need to have that chemistry at its peak around March, April, whatever, end of February. And if you don't have that because your guys aren't healthy or you're sitting guys as a precaution, that's a problem.
But we've seen, the last 5-6 years, we've seen the reality of the situation is the more you rest guys, the better it is. I mean, there is a direct correlation. And despite what the NBA came out and said, because they came out with a report that basically said, oh, rest does not equal, winning and, and does not help you, et cetera, to stay healthy. It's BS. I mean, you look at the correlations. The less you play, the better you are in the playoffs, and the more you can play. And really, the chemistry well, yeah, exactly. Miami had a whole bunch of games where Jimmy Butler didn't play, Bam Adebayo didn't play, and they won. They made it to the finals.
Where's Tatum on the MVP list right now as far as betting is concerned?
So there's a lot of people who like him as one of the long shots this year. I still think it's Jokic. I think after last year, he's the most. You saw him opening. He's the most dominant player in the game, no doubt. But yeah, Tatum is a legitimate possibility. My thing is, if Porzingis is going to do that type of thing, Tatum's value becomes.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
sure.
well, it is. But in terms of an MVP bet, like in terms of betting that, his value becomes severely limited because you're going to have guys like Porzingis. I know Jalen was terrible last night, but Jalen's going to get his in specific games, and
Drew Holiday's
going to have great games. Yeah. So it kind of limits what your value is somewhat a little bit. There's going to be times you look at this and say, wow, Tatum won them the game. But, did Tatum win them the game last night?
No.
Plus he's boring. So.